I am ranking all 82 maps that comes with Cities Skylines. This episode is Parklife DLC. This series is tournament style with the best map from each DLC sent to the final round to determine which map is truly the best map in Cities Skylines. Here's the point breakdown. Transportation accounts for 4 points with highways, railroads, shipping, and airports counting for 1 point each. Resources are worth 2 points, half a point for each type of resource. How the map looks is worth 3 points, and personal preferences account for 1 point. The maximum any map can score is 10 points. The first map is Cavern Coast. Let's look at the highways. Starting out okay, and then we get to a pretty steep area over here. That's not great. Then it's steep again over here, bumpy as well. Not great. Pretty steep in this area. Kind of a weird path to take, but it's really steep. Terrible interchange, of course. We just got steepness all over the place. This highway path was kind of weird. Terrible interchange. Extremely steep over here. Holy smokes. That's not good. Very bumpy. Very terrible. I dislike the highways very much. So there's no railroad in this map, which makes that an automatic 0. The shipping route is pretty lackluster and only goes over there. There's room to build airports, but it's a little hilly, so it's kind of difficult to do so. Resources are pretty abundant, and you have almost every single resource within the first tile. I mean, you do have every single resource in here, but it's not like the best resource. The look of this map is actually pretty good. I do like these little ridge lines and little hilly areas. I think that looks pretty cool. And I would be willing to play this, but I'd have to make several modifications to it first. The second map is Hanu Island. So the highway starts out rough, but it gets a little bit better here. Not too many steep areas. Pretty flat, that's nice. Of course, we got a terrible interchange, but we'll get to that later. We follow the coastline here, and we don't have any issues. We do have a steep area over here. It's not great. We have another highway over here with a steep area. That's not great. It's a bit bumpy, but it's not terrible. Come back over here with a terrible interchange to a bridge. Over this way is pretty good. Coming across this way, we look to be okay. Terrible interchange. Yeah, the highways aren't great, but they're not bad. This map actually has a railroad attached to it. I can appreciate that based on the last map. And it looks like it just follows the outside of the highway and just takes the same route. A little bit steep over here. There's another railroad over here that follows this route. It's a bit bumpy. And it just takes it out that way. For this being an island map, the shipping routes could have done a lot more than what they're doing, but at least they are doing something different, so I can't complain about it too much. Well, it won't be too difficult to build an airport on this map. There's plenty of space to do it. It's just where do you want to do it? So you have abundant resources, except in farming. Farming's the only one that you're going to struggle with. But you have abundant resources of everything else, and you can get 3 of them in the first tile, so it's pretty good. I do really like the look of this map. I think it looks phenomenal. A lot of elevation, a lot of water. I do want to play this map. I just need a few modifications done to it beforehand, like more farming. The third map is Mountain Meadows. The highways are pretty flat. It's hard to mess flat up. It's not bad jumping over the railroad there. Terrible interchange, hate it. Yeah, the highways are almost as perfect as you can get it. Next we got the railroad, and it's pretty flat. No problems with railroads, it's just 1 tile away, so it's not perfect. There's a little bit of a shipping route over here. It doesn't go very far in, but at least there's a shipping route here, right? Well, you're not going to struggle with an airport in this map. It's just which way do you have to orient it so you don't run into a mountain? That's the question. Well, you have nice, strong patches of resources, but you don't have many in your first tile. And it's not all of them nearby, that you have to go pretty far to get them. I like the look of the map a lot. Like, the elevation is great, and then there's a nice river cutting right down the middle, kind of making it look like a valley. I do like this a lot. There's not many modifications I need to make to this map, and I think this map is pretty good on its own. The fourth map is Pine Rivers. You know, for this map being relatively flat, they seem to have picked the worst route they could have taken for the highway, going up a hill. And then they didn't even do it very well. So, I'm not a big fan of the highway. It's the only one in here. At least the railroad makes a little bit of sense, but there's still these steep areas that shouldn't exist. Not a big fan of that. There's no shipping in here, which makes perfect sense, because there's not big enough rivers for this. So yeah, like, there's a lot of area to build an airport. The problem you're gonna run into is you're gonna hit a river before you'll be able to fit a proper airport in here. Resources are pretty abysmal in this map, and you only get forestry in the first one. Farming you don't get much of, and you get a bunch of ore and a tiny smidgen of oil. The map has an interesting appeal to it. It's not my favorite map by any means. I think the rivers look pretty cool, but the rest of the map is just bland. I don't want to play on this map at all. The fifth map is Windfield. The highways start out rough, but maybe it can redeem itself. Terrible interchange, to a terrible drop off, to a terrible bridge, to a steep hill. That's not great. Then it's pretty good over there. Pretty flat over here. Hate the interchange. This side's pretty good. Not too many problems here, but overall, the highways aren't great. Now the railroads are off to a horrible start, and they just get worse. We got a roller coaster over here. Whee! Wow, wow, look at how bumpy that is. Bumpy railroad. What in tarnation is this? Oh, that's atrocious. It's not horrible over here, but it's not great either. It's pretty good on this side. I spoke too soon. A little bit steep over here. Some sharp curves as well. But it's not terrible, but it's also pretty terrible. We're jumping over two highways, and they're both terrible. Bit of steepness over here. Yeah, railroads are not good in this map. There's a shipping line, and it's really far away and pretty unimaginative, so it's pretty average. Well, airports are pretty easy. Well, there's plenty of resources around, but you only get farming and forestry in the first one, but the other two are pretty close by, so it's not bad. This is actually pretty good for resources. You know, I do really like the look of this map. I think it's pretty cool. Kind of like this cliffside waterfront. I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of elevation here. Got a nice winding river through here. I think this looks pretty good. With a few modifications to the railroads, I'd definitely be willing to play this. There's a tie between Hanu Island and Mountain Meadows. The winner is determined by which map scores higher in the looks category. Therefore, the winner of the 11th bracket of maps is Hanu Island. If you'd like to see which map wins this tournament, make sure you subscribe and tune in tomorrow to see the next episode. I wanted to take a minute to thank Grahtles for helping me rank all 82 maps. May God bless you and have a wonderful day.